My wife, hey, my wife can touch, even in public. What's it called? PPDF.
On PDA.
PDA.
So extra. PDA, not PDP, not PDA. PDA.
PDA.
When I say, okay, hon, I want to give you a massage tonight, he loves that. But when I touch you more than you touch me.
Who's touchy and clingy? Funny.
Not clingy.
They're not clingy. Are they two different things?
Yeah. Am I clingy?
But I like the way you are always like around me. Is that not clingy?
No.
Okay.
Hi everyone. Welcome to
Ife and OKEY'S Love Channel.
We're here to enlighten lives and uplift souls with our love story.
Because God is love and love is God. So when you have love, you have God.
Alright, so today we're going to be talking about the 5 love languages, but more importantly, how we receive love and how we give love to each other, right?
Yeah.
So, where do you want to start, hon? Do you want to tell us a little bit about how you generally receive love from people, like family members, friends, me?
Okay, so we're going to make this as personal as possible, and we'll talk deeply on how we give love and receive love to each other. But it's very important that we know that the big challenge and problem people face in their relationships is how to receive love. Some of us might know how to give love, but a lot of us who are givers of love don't know how to receive love. And a lot of people also face the challenges of even giving love, because some people don't know how to give love. So today, we believe that by the time we are done on our own personal experiences on how we give love and how we receive love and how we strengthen each other's weakness, I believe that a lot of us will learn a lot from it and implement it in our different relationships and love life. And we await your testimonies on the comment section.
Awesome. So, can you just tell us a little bit, or do you want me to start first?
Okay, start first.
Okay, so how I receive love. I'm gonna start from there. So personally, I receive love.
Okay, let's do this because it's going to be a love test. My wife's love language, the very first one, which I discovered when we were still cutting, is quality time. My wife doesn't joke with quality time, and this is something I've always valued in my life. I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm saying that marriage, the first definition of marriage we got from the Bible is, for this reason, a man shall leave his father and mother and go cleave to his wife. So I so much value quality time, and that's why I would use the word I disagree, but though some situations are beyond our capacity, whereby you see people get married and the husband is in the east and the wife is in the west. I never believed in such type of marriage. I never believed in such. I always believe in we should work out a way for us to be together as much as possible and never get tired of each other. That is my core definition of love. And that is why our first love language, which was what connected us to each other, is quality time. I'm someone that I've always valued quality time, and I've always said it that I'm someone that will always create time for my family, for my wife or our children when they start coming, only for me to meet my wife when we're still talking over the phone, when it was still a long distance relationship over the phone. And she kept on talking about quality time. You know, we have times that we spend with each other without our phones, without watching anything on the TV, without surfing the nets. We just talk deeply about each other, each other's favorites, food, color, life goal, finances, ambition, how to raise kids, how to be a better father, better mother, better parents. So our first love language, I would say, is quality time. And second one, tell me if I'm wrong, all right? Second one, I believe, is physical touch. My wife, hey, my wife can touch, even in public. What's it called? PPDF.
On PDA.
PDA.
So extra. PDA, not PDP, not PDA. PDA.
Okay, PDA. My wife, she's an association of PDA. She can touch you everywhere, anywhere, and anywhere. You understand what I mean? But I think that's one thing I learned from her, because a lot of times she also tells me that in as much as I enjoy, I pray. My wife is everything I prayed for and more. I prayed for a girl who's touchy and clingy, and that's my wife. But that's not me. Funny.
Not clingy.
Okay, not clingy. Are they two different things?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who values touch?
Okay,
That's
value
it.
touch.
Yeah.
Yeah, she values
Clingy
touch.
means something completely different.
But you know something.
Am I clingy?
But I like the way you are always like around me, leaning
But-
on me.
Yeah.
I like that. Is that not clingy?
No. I said I literally opened the dictionary and showed you what clingy means. It's not clingy. I just value physical touch.
Okay, yeah, she does. 100%.
I value touch.
Do I value physical touch?
Yes, you do. 100%.
But do I always physically touch you?
Yeah, for the most part, but I touch you more than you touch me.
You want me to touch you more?
Well, it would be nice to get like back rubs and
But I'm trying this.
You're getting better.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's always good to that, like I said, that effective communication is the lubricant of an effective relationship. So we normally have communications about this, and she tells me how she feels and what she wants, and I always tell her what I want and how I feel. And people should do that even. Okay, we'll still have a topic on love making, so we'll talk more about that soon.
Yeah.
But we're still on how to give love and receive love.
Yeah, so it comes naturally to me to touch because that's how I receive love. So for him, like even if we're outside or somewhere in public, just like a little touch on the knee or a touch on the arms, that's something I would normally do. For him, he enjoys receiving it. That's what I noticed. Am I right?
Yeah, you're right.
He enjoys receiving it. So when I say, okay, hon, I want to give you a massage tonight, he loves that. When I say, I'm just like, we're just laying on the bed and I'm just giving him like back rubs, he loves that. So lately I've been like, like I'm treating you so well, honey. Why are you not giving me something back? So that's what he's talking about, is that, he's being intentional about learning and what I want and need, and and giving some of it back to me in terms of like how I receive it. So my two main love languages, he already got it right. It's quality time and physical touch, right? So that's why I give it more. And so for me right now, he's learning how to do the back rubs more. That's physical touch, how to give massages, and and it feels good. It feels good when someone's just touching you and rubbing you, on your arm or on your back or whatever. Like it feels good. It feels like you're getting a massage like every day, and that's what he enjoys, my husband. So
what about quality time?
Quality time for me is the biggest one.
What about me? Do I have it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I believe we do, because quality time for you is like you enjoy being in my presence and in my space, and he enjoys, my husband enjoys doing things together. He always wants us to do more things together, which is amazing because that's also what I love. You know, even when we first met, he was like, "Oh, I don't believe we should do things apart, blah blah blah," and I was just like, "Well, it's okay to also like want your space sometimes. I want to do other things by yourself sometimes. I want to keep your individuality sometimes, but you know, and it's okay to process things alone sometimes, to have some alone times of self-reflection and
But
all
you
of
know
that."
sorry, but you know that a family that prays together stays together.
Yeah, of course.
So the more I believe that we should encourage couples, because we're now doing it and it's working for us.
Yeah.
Like doing things together,
Yeah,
sharing
yeah,
ideas
of course.
together. Like you're my best friend.
Yeah.
That's
You're my best friend too.
yeah, I know. We're best friends. She's my best friend and I am her best friend.
Yeah.
So in the context of giving love and receiving love, whatever you are desiring or you are expecting from your spouse or your partner, you should also learn how to give it back. In as much as you are letting them know that this is what you want them to do more for you, you should also learn what they want you to do more for them. So in as much as you want him to listen to you more often, learn how to listen to her more often. So as you are giving the quality time, you learn how to receive quality time from your spouse as well.
Yeah.
And there's another thing I learned about quality time, like having discussions in it, and you normally ask your spouse, like, I think I'm the one in that category where you're like, baby, are you okay? Yeah, because I am the one that's always positive.
Yeah.
And I say things like, I'm fine, I'm great.
Yeah.
But I think lately,
What have you learned?
I've learned that you should always express your feeling at the moment. It helps your partner know how and the amount of love to give you at that point in time.
Yeah.
And it makes you also give your partner the avenue to learn how to give love. You give your partners room to learn how to attend to your needs at every particular point in time. You give them a chance to learn how to nurture you on how you are feeling at the moment. So I think being vulnerable, saying how you feel at every given time is also a way of giving love, and is also a way of receiving love. That's being very honest to your partner. Don't sweep things under the carpet. Don't be like, we'll talk about this later. No, I tell people that is when you accumulate all those feelings and they weigh you down. Next thing is for you to explode on your spouse. And that's why we have a lot of people who divert aggressions to their partners. People get you upset outside there because you've refused to tell them how you feel with what they say or the way they are treating you. You keep it in you, and then you go home or you get home and then you explode on your loved ones who have not done anything. But they are the ones you're meant to confide in. Tell them, today at work, this is what happened. That is you giving them love. And that is you also opening up yourself to receive love from them. So, sweetheart, what's my love language?
So your love language is quality time and words of affirmation. I believe his main one though is quality time. Like I said, he wants to spend time with you. He wants to be in your space. He wants to do a lot of things together. Do I give you enough words of affirmation?
Yes, you do. You do.
How?
You always tell me how I look and what you feel about me.
I always tell him that he's very handsome because he is. Okay.
And I always tell her that she's very beautiful.
Yeah.
She's the finest woman in the whole wide world. Yeah, and I tell her that every day. So always compliment your partner. It's very, very vital. In as much as they compliment you, also compliment them back. Let them know how they look. Let them know how you feel about them. Don't store things in your heart. I've heard people say, if I tell him that he's handsome, now if I tell her that she's beautiful, our heads will swell up. You are the one to swell our head up. Our head or his head, your partner's head. Swell their heads up. They don't need to seek for words of affirmation outside. That's why the people tell them all this, I wouldn't call it cheap though, but it's like cheap words and they fall for them because they don't get that enough. Even most parents don't do that to their children. Build the self-confidence of your kids. Build the self-confidence of your spouse with words of affirmation. Compliment them. Tell them how they feel. You feel it in your heart. Tell them. Because some of us are so mean that you see nice things, you never compliment it, but you spot faults. Very easy. You can spot the things they didn't do well. You can spot the ones. No, you're not there to spot their weaknesses. You're there to strengthen their weaknesses. Strengthen it. Whatever area you feel that they are not good at, that's how you give love. That's the raw definition. That's the practical manifestation of love. Because love is a practical word. It's not a theoretical word. It's not enough to say I love you, I love you. Everybody could say it.
Love is in the action.
Yes, it's an action word.
And in the commitments.
That's
love is a commitment, and it's in the action. That's why in the Bible, when Adam and Eve ate the fruits, not necessarily an apple, but when they ate the fruit that they weren't supposed to eat, then the first thing Adam said was, God, this woman you gave me, right? And so that completely removed any form of trust between them. It made them naked, in front of God and in front of each other, and it just destroyed a lot of things. Adam blaming Eve that was an opportunity for him to be like, let me protect my wife, let me shield her. But then he blamed God for giving him her in that moment. And that's also another reason why God said, he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtaineth favor from the Lord. That means the man has to find his wife. That's why God gave us free will to find each other and be with each other, right? But
so we wouldn't have people to blame.
So we wouldn't have people to blame or him to blame. Exactly. So being vulnerable is very important, and creating a safe space for your partner to be able to express themselves as well and talk to you about how they feel. For my husband right now, the biggest thing for us, or not really the biggest thing, but something that he's still learning, is saying exactly how he feels when he's feeling it. So a lot of times I will talk to him and he'll be like, oh, I'm okay, or I'm good, or I'm great, or oh, by faith I'm awesome, but no, I want to know, like, how do you feel? Because you tell me how you feel doesn't mean that's what, the reality is. It's just a matter of, how are you feeling in this moment? How can I love on you right now? How can I help you through your process, right? How can I be there for you while you're feeling the way that you're feeling? But if I don't even know how you're feeling, I can't help you, right? So that's the recent discussion we've had so far, right? Exactly. So how do you feel about that discussion?
I feel good about it.
Do you feel like it's helpful? Do you feel like it's something?
Of course, 100%. In life, I tell, like I normally tell everybody, the day you stop learning is the day you start dying. If you want to live on, you have to keep learning. And for you to learn, you have to be teachable. You have to be open-minded. Some of us are not just teachable. You have to be teachable, because you can never know it all. The worst people I say that you could ever do things with on this earth is Mr. or Mrs. I know it all, or I know enough, or I'm content with the level I know. I don't want to know more. Because if you don't want to know more, how would you learn your partner? Marriage is a journey. You keep learning each other every day. And change, they say, is constant. Even God said that he loves his people who remind him of his words. If God loves his people who remind him of his words, what about your partner? Remind them of who they used to be, and remind them of who you wish they are. This is what happened, and this is what causes a lot of people to look outside for words of affirmation, physical touch. We're talking about love languages. Because if you can communicate with your spouse and tell them, this is how I feel, this is what I love to do, this is what I wish that would be done to me. If you could have those communications with your spouse, and please, we should always make ourselves available for discussions. Some of us, our spouse can't even approach us. If your spouse can't confide in you on things, there's a big problem there. Oh, how is he going to feel about this? How is she going to take this? He's going to take this as an insult, or she's going to take this as an insult. And that's what we talked about. words of affirmation. Always infuse it whenever you're having a conversation with your spouse. Let them not feel corrected, but let them feel value added.
Yeah. I think for us, what works is like when we want someone to change something or do something, we'll be like, oh, don't you think it's better? Or don't you think you should try this instead? Or don't you think you should consider? It's like when you're asking a question, it's more thought-provoking and more, oh, okay, maybe that could be something I could process and consider, right? Than just saying, oh, I think you're doing this badly. Don't,
Don't command.
Yes, exactly.
Suggest.
Your approach is very, very important, especially if you're upset about something and you just figure out how you process that part. But normally, don't you think, make suggestive statements. That's very, very important.
Do you want to do this?
Yes.
How do you feel like doing this? Honey, do you feel like cooking today?
That's how we communicate, actually, right?
Sweet, do you want to take this out? Honey, do you want to fold these clothes now?
And it's okay to say no.
It's okay. See, I tell people that I don't know, but I see this mostly in Nigeria or with Nigerians. Just because of our religious mindset and upbringing. You go to church, you are not feeling happy, and they said if you're happy and clap your hands, even in schools, and you are clapping your. If you are not happy, tell them you are not happy. You have to be attended to. That happiness that is not found in you it has to be attended to, so you could clap from a place of joy. Because we now have a lot of people doing things out of societal pressure, parental pressure. I'm ought to do this gathering. That's what everybody's doing. Why won't I drink? Why won't I clap? But you are not happy. So trash the problem at hand before you move on, so you can move on freely and well. And these are the things that we should implement in our relationships. Talk about it. Tell your partner, this is how I feel. That is you giving love. There is no other love greater than this. If you love God, you have to always have communication with God, which is through prayer. If you understand what true prayer is, it's having a communication with God. And then you have to tell him how you feel, and he tells you what to do. Then you also have to put into consideration what he tells you to do. Then if it's hard for you, you let him know. God, this is hard for me to do. Then just like Moses had a discussion with God, God sent him and he told God, I stammer. I need help. And God gave him Aaron to go with him. This is, you see, I tell people, drop every weapon you are fighting with and kill them with kindness. And charity begins at home. So start that with your spouse first before you take it outside there. Every wars are not won by anger, malice, and raising your voice. I tell people a lot of times it's not about who is right. It's about having a conversation. It's about having a communication. It's not about who is right. It's about passing the right message. Are we passing the right message to each other? Is my spouse, is he or is she understanding what I'm saying? Is he or she understanding where I'm actually coming from? Am I trying to pass a message, or I just want to be right?
That being said, I think it's important what the approach is when you're talking to your partner, your spouse. I think it's important how, to understand how they're feeling and where they're at. There's sometimes where timing is also important. Your spouse might be feeling a certain way, and then you come to them and you start raking and talking. There are certain times where I have also had issues and I want to vent to my husband, and my husband is a very solution oriented man. Sometimes I just want to vent, but it's like, okay, so what's the solution? What's the next solution? Ahead. Let's move forward. And I'm just like, honey, I just want to vent right now. Okay, can you just listen to me? So that's how it is for us. And sometimes also when I want to vent and I see his face and I'm like, oh, I don't just offload with information. I'm looking at him and seeing his body language. Sometimes I even ask are you okay to have this conversation right now? Because that's also 100% important. You don't want to put all your emotional stuff on your husband or your wife. It's important to know where they're at and if they're able to receive that information, and if they're able to give you a constructive feedback, right, about the situation. So for me, that's really important. So I think right now, like the main goal and aim is just to understand, like to receive love and to give love, and like know what your partner's love language is. For me, we've said that it's quality time and physical touch. Just to conclude this discussion, it's important to know your partner's love language, and based off of the 5 love languages. So I think it's important to be able to understand your partner's love languages, how they receive love, and to be able to try to give it to them. So the 5 love languages currently are quality time, physical touch, acts of service, receiving gifts, and words of affirmation, right?
And always try to implement these elements of giving love and receiving love in your relationships, and do it with love. Remember, you have to give these gifts with love, and you have to receive these gifts with love. Receive it first, give it first, before you move over to, oh, you would have given it this way, or you would have gotten me that. But first and foremost, give it with love and receive it with love. And words of affirmation should always be from a place of love, not a mockery way of complimenting someone, like some people always do. This your hair self. If I know, but please, let's remove all those buts. Words of affirmation will come from a place of love. Oh, your hair is pretty, it's fine. This is the best in the whole wide world. But let it come from your heart. You understand? And the dressing is not okay. Oh, honey sweets, you look nice, you look fine. But I think if you change this or that, it will be better. I think next time you should do it this way. But at least compliment the one your spouse already has. Your spouse already puts in much work to achieve that result. So the best thing you will do is compliment or commend the time being spent, the time being invested, before you point out. But let it always be from a place of suggestion. We said it earlier, don't command. Then physical touch. I wonder, anyway, some people might want you to spank them hard. That could be their own physical touch language. Do it to them. But all I'm saying is have a communication. Not because you want to spank someone hard, you're spanking them hard and they're complaining and you keep doing it. That's not right. There's no love in that. Find out what works for your partner, and that is what you should implement.
Awesome.
So find out what works for you and your spouse, like what really works for us. We apply every of the 5 elements of giving and receiving love. But our topmost one is quality time, which I believe every couple should find a way to infuse it in their relationship. So we talk together, we have discussions together, we pray together, we do everything together.
And just together.
Yeah. We do everything together. There's nothing we don't do together.
Love on each other.
Exactly.
So yeah.
So thank you, and stay tuned to our love channel.
So remember,
Like, comment, subscribe, and share. Hit the notification button.